scary.
This is all about sharing.
One loves the Hershey kiss they give me. All right.
Now, just like in the fan wars thing, it seems like we had a holdout there. Peter,
Yes.
did we see your material in there, or were you holding out?
No, you didn't see anything of it because I just finished writing the script the other day. And we thought of just doing a sizzle reel with pages coming out. We didn't really think that'd be all that interesting.
Well, come on, everybody waited in line to come in. I mean, give us something here. Throw us a bone.
Some time back, a young man that I've known for quite a few years, a guy named David Uslan, some of you may know his father, Michael Uslan, the producer of the Batman films, approached me about the notion, he thought that we might be able to sell the concept of a superhero sitcom. Something that would be, he said to me, I was thinking something along the lines of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, that's great, I can do that. Then I actually went and watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I said, that's great, I can do better than that.
That's amazing.
So what I developed in tandem with my wife, Kathleen David, who co-created it with me, is a series called Head Cases. The story of a young disaffected superhero named Ari Cooper, who goes by the superhero name of Thunderhead. The reason that he goes by this name is that he has the superpower to create seismic waves of thunder-like noise by slamming his head against hard objects. The problem with this is that his head is not invulnerable. So the first time that he attempts to go into action during a bank robbery, he slams his head against the wall with such enthusiasm that he knocks himself cold. And the bad guys go running past him, stepping over his body. This, of course, is video recorded and goes out onto YouTube. He becomes an instant joke in the superhero community and becomes so frustrated with the entire notion of being a superhero that he spends most of his time hanging out in a bar for superheroes and supervillains called the DMZ.
Wow.
His best friends are a very hairy Chinese guy called Fong Dong, whose superhero name is the Monkey King, primarily because his major power is throwing his own poop at people. And his other best friend is a guy named Xander, who's a 40 to 50-ish guy who's a psychic and who always has visions of the future. The problem is that they come at him with such ferocity and regularity that he basically stays stoned the whole time because otherwise it gives him huge headaches. So he does know the future, but he's not the most reliable of psychics. Into the mix comes a young woman called Victoria Reichwick, or Vicky Quick, as she calls herself, with cyclonic abilities, who's known Ari since he was a young and would-be superhero because her big brother is Captain Quick, and one of the most renowned superheroes in the city. And who is so annoying in person that all the heroes refer to him as Captain Prick. And she decides that Ari, she hates the way that she's seen him fall so far from his aspirations that she wants to try to elevate him and remind him what it was like to be a hero. The series is going to be filled with various in-jokes. Stan Lee will have a recurring role.
Wait, he's going to make an
I think
appearance?
we jumped over it because what happened was David wound up hooking up with the good folks who were putting together Stan Lee's World of Heroes. And I have to say that having been a Marvel reader since the mid-1960s, I'm fully prepared to acknowledge that it is in fact Stan Lee's World of Heroes and we're all just living in it.
Yeah.
And what essentially happened was that Stan's World of Heroes was interested in taking on head cases. And by the way, the reason I like being called head cases is because 15 years ago, I did a series with Bill Mumy on TV on Nickelodeon called Space Cases. So I think, oh, you're the ones who watch it. And so apparently I can only get things sold if I call it cases. So there you go. At any rate, they were interested in taking it on as a series of webisodes, which each one, so I've essentially written a story that runs about 75 minutes that will be broken up into 5 to 6 minute webisodes that essentially tells the entire first story and introduces all the characters. Stan himself will have a recurring role.
So Peter.
Yeah?
Stan will be appearing in this series, correct?
He will. He will be our equivalent of Norm.
All right.
He will walk in, afternoon everybody, Stan! And we have one bit, for instance, where the...
Wait, don't give the whole show away, man. They gotta watch it.
It was a good joke. I was going to tell you a good joke, okay.
The thing about Peter. The thing about Peter. I love him, but he has this one fault. He is so shy and retiring, you cannot get the man to speak in public. If you'd only come out of your shell, Peter, and sometimes tell people what you think and how you feel, it would be so appreciated.
The other thing is that...
All right.
I just want to mention this, we will have our own versions of known superheroes and supervillains. One that we're going to do, his name is Jackanapes, and he's our own version of the Joker. I'm hoping to find someone to play the role who can do a really damn good Joker voice. We're going to try and do some casting. We'll see if we can find someone.
I'm retired.
We're gonna, before we move into the Q&A section so that everybody can ask questions and stuff, I just want to quickly sort of recap some of the shows that are available on World of Heroes. I'm going to list them off. There's Cocktails with Stan, there's With Great Power, there's Mask and Cake, there's Fan Wars, Super Fans, Geek, Do It Yourself, or DIY, Geek Therapy, Mr. Hamill's podcast, which I'm looking forward to.
Untitled at present.
Untitled, because you guys haven't tweeted them yet. The Academy of Heroes, Bad Days, that animated thing you saw, the Chat Room of Solitude, and Super Dot Model that Stan won't tell us anything about, and Head Cases, which we almost saw. So I wanted to open up the floor to any questions for any of our panelists, or especially for Stan, because you have him here. You might as well hit him with some questions in regards to the World of Heroes channel and what Stan is trying to do.
There can't be anything left that they don't know after this long exposition, but if they have a question, feel free.
Oh my God. Anyway, so last year being my first con, real quick, I jumped at the opportunity to meet Stan Lee. He was doing a signing. I spent about a half hour, 45 minutes in front of his booth just talking with him, not actually getting an autograph. But one thing I did mention to him, I'm not expecting you to remember, of course, but you have a lot of crazy fans, I'm sure, was that just spending time with you and telling you about how you were one of my heroes was like the absolute pinnacle of reality. But I have to tell you today was definitely a lie, because this is clearly the pinnacle of reality right here. You guys being together on one stage is absolutely amazing. So real quick, my question is actually for Mark. I
was just going to say, maybe we should call the show The Pinnacle, but okay.
So for Mark, not about Star Wars actually, believe it or not. You were already talking about your voice acting career. I know it goes much further back, of course. The animated film Wizards is a role I'm actually quite into. Really great. You were the fairy prince. Yeah, it was actually an amazing film. Anyhow, my question is, what made you get into, or how did you get into the voice acting? Obviously, you're extremely good at it. People are finally now starting to realize that. And
well, I would work with Paul DeMeo and Danny Bilson on The Flash. I did Trickster in a 2-part episode that was released as a movie overseas. And I went in, I thought to pitch stories for Batman the Animated Series, but they said, no, we have our writers. We just want to know if you want to be in an episode. And they put me in Heart of Ice, the first Mr. Freeze. Yeah. And I went in and I let my fanboy flag fly, as I was peppering Paul Dini and all the producers and directors with questions about what villains they were going to do. Were they going to do villains that weren't in the television series, etc., etc. And to make a long story short, about 2 months later, they called and asked would I audition for the Joker. I mean, they gave me the part in the Mr. Freeze episode. Joker, I had to fight for, and I had it never crossed my mind that they would cast Luke, an icon of Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, with one of the darkest villains in the comic book world. So I had that fear removed. I just went in thinking, this will just be fun to show them what my version of the Joker would be like. And then, of course, when they said, we want you to do it, I thought, oh no, what did I get myself into? There's no way I can not disappoint people who've been reading and hearing their own voice for, at that point, 50 years. But I just lucked out. Great writing and...
oh, well, you did an awesome job.
Well, thanks.
Yes.
But I mean, it's an awesome... Stan will remember this. I did The Incredible Hulk playing Gargoyle, and I first met Stan when he came in to do his obligatory cameo in the Hulk animated series as a lab technician. So again, I just totally geeked out. I went, Stan, please!
To show you the difference between a real actor and a phony, he applies for a job and he's nervous. Will I be able to get it? Will I be good enough? I walk in and, gee, they're lucky. I hope they appreciate me. But they don't know the difference. They hire me anyway.
Anyway, Mark, may the force be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would love
You as well.
I would love to just throw out there really quick, get on Facebook and like Mark Hamill starring as Joker for The Killing Joke. It's on there. If we could get Betty White on Saturday Night Live, I'm sorry, we can get The Killing Joke on there.
Thank you. Okay, question line. Ask your questions quickly so we can get as many people as possible.
My question is to Stan, my brother who couldn't be here. He wants to know what Marvel movie would you like to see made next?
What Marvel movie would you like to see made next?
Millie the Model.
Oh, you took it right out of my mouth. For those of you who don't know, Millie the Model was really the pinnacle of my career. But I'd kind of like to see the Black Panther. I have a feeling that they're thinking about it and talking about it, and who knows. And then I'd like to see Doctor Strange. I'd like to see them all. They are wonderful.
Thanks. Who's
By
next?
the way, I just want to see a Deadpool romantic comedy. Is that too much to ask? I just want to see dating Deadpool. I think that should be like the next one. Deadpool. He works at like a taco stand and he finds like criminals and his true love. I mean, and dates Kate Hudson or something. Yeah.
What about me? I like that.
By the way, America informs me that today's your birthday.
Yeah.
Today is my birthday!
Anybody else's?
Yeah, don't talk.
It's your birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Everyone say happy birthday, Bonnie.
Thank you.
That's amazing crowd management there. You're really good.
I know. It's like, yeah. It's like, thank you.
Question, sir.
My name's Ian. First off, I just want to say, Stanley, Mark Hamill, it's an honor to be in your presence. Mark Hamill, what was your favorite episode of the Batman animated series?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Well,
Because I look at each of them as separate entities, because they use Joker in different ways. Some episodes, like Harley and Ivy, were comedic episodes where Joker was made into a house husband against his will. I mean, when we did direct-to-video, he could be a little more lethal. I used to get letters saying, "Why don't you kill more people?" And I said, it's a cartoon for children. Standards practices of the censors. So when we did Mask of the Phantasm, I think there was a body count. I think we killed, what's his name from Barney Miller. No, the elderly actor, Abe Vigoda. Yeah, Abe Vigoda. I don't know. I would say I liked the Return of the Joker for Batman Beyond because we did him in a much more sinister way. Because Andrea Romano wanted to make the audience not know whether he was a clone or a robot or not the real Joker because it was set so far in the future. And we did him in a much more restrained, Hannibal Lecter-y way. I just wrote an introduction for the Joker coffee table book. I don't know whether you've seen that yet from DC. And it sort of is a summation of my 2 decades doing the role. and usually the one that's my favorite is the one I've seen most recently.
Make sure you buy that book.
It's a nice book. You know what though? If you go onto Amazon, you can read the introduction without buying the book. It says "Look inside." No, but I'm always for the people. You know, I'm one of the 98%, not one of those corporate hacks.
What do you got for us, sir?
Get it for free.
This is for Stan Lee.
So right now in the Marvel universe, fans are kind of asked to take sides, the Avengers or the X-Men. So where do you stand?
The question for everybody. Just so that everybody knows what the question was, where does Stan Lee stand in regards to the Avengers versus the X-Men?
People usually say to me, who would win if, let's say, the Hulk was fighting Thor? And my stock answer is, it depends on who's writing the story. Who he wants to win. And as far as
There you go.
You see why we keep this man around? Why should I even answer that? When you can see the whole thing revealed in all its bloodthirsty glory on Fan Wars.
Saving lives.
See why we keep him around.
That was good.
Who's next?
Hi Bonnie, it's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday. I'm standing in the same room as a comic book legend, Luke Skywalker, and pretty much the hottest velociraptor. I just wanted to say hi. That's it.
Happy birthday.
Who's next? He's taking a picture.
It's a photo op.
He's taking a picture.
Mark Hamill, you get this question?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about bringing in Arlene Sorkin or Tara Twilight Rich's Strongport Stan the Man Lee's World of Heroes?
Well, that's the thing. When we're trying to figure out who I would like to talk to on my podcast, I want to know what you guys want to hear. And you know, certainly I've stayed friends with all of those people, both Arlene and Tara. So yeah, I would love to bring them in.
Sorry.
I was hoping he'd say, I'd love to hear what you have to say, meaning me, but okay.
Who's next? 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes.
Hey! Mark Hamill, firstly, I think it's criminal that no one remembers you as Ira rather than the Joker.
As who?
Avatar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I needed myself in
I'm fighting Alzheimer's.
Mr. Lee, I was just wondering if there was going to be a Willy Lumpkin sitcom on Stan Lee's World of Heroes.
A Willy Lumpkin.
Now, we don't treat Willy Lumpkin too lightly at Marvel. He's one of our major characters, and until we can find just the right vehicle for him, and those of you who don't know who Willy Lumpkin is, if you'll all just leave quietly, no, we haven't. Willy Lumpkin, alas, belongs to Marvel, and I would have to lease or rent him from Marvel. My cheapness is legendary. But we'll see what we can do.
Marvel is actually planning a limited series about Willy Lumpkin becoming an escape artist. And of course it will be called Free Willy.
We are now pressed for time. Although there is one last thing that I think Stan wanted to say. I believe that you have a rant about a particular subject, a rant that you actually videotaped.
I have many rants. There are things that upset me. I know it's hard for you to believe. You see me sitting here, I'm so adorable, but I do get upset, and one thing has to do with one of the characters at DC Comics. I think they call him Superman, something like that. Now, you notice that Superman, when he flies, he goes like this.
Very good technique. Did you see the technique there?
And off he goes into the air with no visible means of propulsion. Now that is very unscientific, and just to show you why Marvel is really the company, I wanted Thor to be able to fly also, but being of a scientific bent, I gave him a hammer with a leather thong that fits around his wrist. So the hammer is attached to his wrist. When he wants to fly, he twirls the hammer around like a propeller, then he lets it go. It goes flying off, but it's attached to his wrist. A visible means of propulsion.
So as you can see,